Good morning, everyone. Sunday morning, here we go again. Another new week has started. Week's only, by the time as I'm recording this, it's only 3 hours in. Got up at 3. You know, I don't know. I just 3 o'clock said, hey, why don't you get out of bed? Alrighty then. We'll have a longer nap today, I guess. You know, obviously, if you're in the United States, you probably heard about the election. Hell, the whole world heard about this election. What I've really enjoyed is the amount of people that don't live in the United States that have written to me. Commented, texted me through Messenger, just talked about it, and have given me their thoughts about it. And I've really that has been really interesting because it was such a global event. It's just everybody around the world was really watching. This is like the best drama. We haven't had a lot of new TV programs because of the pandemic. We just had probably one of the greatest TV programs in the whole wide world, our election, and they just drew that baby out. I mean, it just took forever. What a cliffhanger, huh? And so it was great to hear these comments. I'm not one. I don't really talk politics on this channel or anything like that because VC to me is my escape from all of that. It's my escape from drama. It's my escape from everything going on. This is me. This is music. Talking to you about it. But kind of what I always worry is when you say Republican Democrat, my side versus that side. The last time we had real sides in the United States, we called it the Civil War. And we had two sides. Because if you have two sides, those are opposites, right? And you have to find a way to take those opposites, those sides, and put them back together. And that, they showed these pictures of people celebrating in the street. And it was like this big party. They didn't show the pictures of the other side, on what they were doing, of them being upset with the loss. I mean, no matter who you voted for, let me tell you, I mean, it was the most amount of people that have ever come out and voted for both sides. It's got to be merged together. If we want to succeed, if we want to move forward, we will still want to say we are a great country. You can't have these sides. They've got to come together, and that's the scary part. And it's not about, hey, my side won. Oh, no. When you watch a sporting event, what happens at the end of the sporting event? Someone won, right? You had two different sides. Someone won. They come together. They shake hands. They hug. They do whatever. That's what you have to do. And it takes both winners and losers to do this. Both have to be humble and do that to create a greater good. And I think for me that's the biggest worry in what we have to do. I have people that work for me that are staunch Republicans. I have people that work for me that are staunch Democrats. Myself, I'm an independent. I don't believe that any one side knows everything. And I'm going to vote for who I think that best person is. I don't care what you are. You have my interest at heart. Well, and so I look and I had one of my employees call up and says, I'm just having a hard time with all of this. It's just really bad. I says, listen, we got to keep focused on what we do. We can't fix that. Everyone had their say. And I said, I told her, no matter what, half our country is going to be delighted, half our country is going to be upset. But in the end, we have a job to do, and we have to keep going and move it on because we're dealing with people and trying to help people. So, it's been interesting, and I've spent 5 minutes talking about this, but it bothered me. At 2 in the morning, I woke up thinking about this. So, at 2 in the morning, I woke up. I would have been asleep for freaking hours. By 5, after 3 in the morning, I think, oh, screw it all. I'm just getting up. So, yeah. we'll see what happens. But for our country, we have to get to figure this out together and get rid of the whole sides and become the United States of America. That's why that word "united's" there. It doesn't say which side, because I've never seen anything this divide that we've had. I miss the '60s. Basically, I was too small, so we'll see. All right, 5 in. Let's talk music. If you haven't forgot, if you haven't given up on it, let's begin with this one. Stanley Turrentine. This is one of those tone poets that everyone likes to show, and I'll just be like everyone else, right? Stanley Turrentine, this guy I really like. The reason why I like Stanley Turrentine is when he plays a sax, he has a swing. He has a groove to it. Some sax players are really harsh. They come at you. They hit you. Especially when you think hard bop or free jazz. Turrentine, just smooth, nice, really good. This album here is called Coming Your Way. It came out in 1961. But like a lot of albums by Blue Note, it wasn't released till 17 years later, because we talked about this before. At the beginning of the 60s, live albums were all the thing, and so he had one up at the Minitani, something like that, but it was a live album, and so Blue Note, instead of putting this out, decided to put that one out, the live album. Then, so they could put out this one next. Well, he got together with, what was her name? Shirley Scott, the key player. And they became married. So the next album, they wanted to have those two on it. And this one got shelved. It's too bad. This is just great stuff. There's like the song "My Girl" is just enough, and that thing just swings. It's fun. I'm gonna play a sample from that, but it's just a swinging kind of song. It just has this real nice bouncy groove to it. Then there is "Then I'll Be Tired of You." I think that, yeah. Then I'll be tired. Then I'll be tired of you. It's this ballad. And Stanley Turrentine's brother, Tommy Turrentine, who plays trumpet, just does this beautiful kind of solo. And then him and Stanley get together, and they just, they're brothers, man, and they just sound wonderful together. Thomasville is another song. It's just this wonderful cooking hard bop type song. Incredible album. With Tommy Turrentine on trumpet, Stanley was on tenor, Horace Parlin piano, George Tucker bass, Al Harewood on drums. A lot of those guys I'm not as familiar with. I really don't, but they could. Great stuff. Really cool album by Stanley Turrentine. He's easy to listen to. Your brain. Afrobeat. Let's get into that. Space Echo. This, of course, came from Cape Verde, which is it's the island that's between Africa and South America, which really was a big slave stop, and I believe Portuguese. Here's inside. This is a compilation. There's 15 songs on here, and by 8 different artists that came out of Cape Verde. We have a nice little book. Talks about the various artists that are on here. Now, the myth it has that in 1968 there was a ship that left the United States. It disappeared. No one could track it. No one knew what happened to the ship. Several months later, in the middle of the island, they got up, and there it was. The ship was there. It was in the middle of the island. Scientists came down to kind of look this over to find out, and really what they detected um, stuff from outer space. I guess must be radiation, or whatever. But they could say something dropped this thing here. Well, when they were done, they had all these containers. This is filled with containers, and so they opened them, and in the containers, a lot of them had musical instruments. And the islanders, they looked at this and they go, well, what the hell are we going to do with that? Well, this is a bunch of bull crap. We got this ship, it drops in the middle of our island, and we got musical instruments? What the hell is that about? They weren't happy. Well, the kids got into it, and they began picking up. There was like synthesizers and organs and keys, and then came the money. Then came the music of Cape Verde, Funana. And you hear a lot of keys. And when you listen to this, there's synthesizer going on and a lot of organ. I mean, it's really fun stuff. Since it's a compilation, it's not a particular type of music, but it's out of Cape Verde. And you will get more key driven, but there is definitely space age type sounds coming out of this. Very electrified, synthesized Funana, I guess, would be the best. So it's fun. So, is this my favorite album out of Analog Africa? No, it's not. It's middle down a little bit, because maybe it's just it jumps around in styles, and I kind of like when it's a group. Up next, and this was sent to me. This is XTC. This is Wasp Star. Came out in 2000. This is 2018 reissue, and this was given me by Dean and Tina Musiru. And thank you very much. Some of the SCLT. Here we have, on this album, we had Andy Partridge and Colin Moulding did this for XT. They were the two left in XTC. This song, it doesn't have some of the lush orchestration in that you a lot of times associate with XTC. It's a lot more straightforward, but really I found it was a wonderful collection of pop songs. And there is just some really good stuff on this. Now, there are folks that will say that it's leftover music that wasn't put on their album Apple and Venus. If that's true, I can just tell you this. Leftover music from XTC generally is better than the music that people will put on their very first album. I mean, they know how to make a hook. And there is just some wonderful songs on here. We have Stupidly Happy. Stupidly Happy was a song. And it's just pure fun. There's so much enjoyment going on within that. I think no, I couldn't get a sample of this one, but it's just pure fun. I'm the Man Who Murdered Love is pure XTC hook. I mean, it has the choruses that jump up with Andy Partridge singing, I'm the man in love. I mean, it's such a good song. No matter, let's see, what was this other one that, you are still, oh man, I can't find it now. There are a few couple songs I didn't much care for, but for the most part, very poppy, great hooks on here. From 2000, XTC. This is the reissue from 2018. Wasp Star, really nice. If you XTC fans, I'm sure you have it. If you like poppy hooks, if you like well-crafted songs, you can't go wrong. This was also SCLT. Jeff, JG Yokohama, that I had the pleasure to meet when I was in DC a couple weeks ago, and we had dinner together. So he sent me this, and the name of the group is called The Feeling of Dinner Together. So he sent me this, and the name of the group is called The Feeling of Love, and the album's called OK Judge Revival. This is a French group, and they sing in French. It's kind of like a blues wrangling nightmare, shall we say. There's like this blues feel to it. There is punk and Velvet Underground influences, and there's some big Velvet Underground influences. In fact, I think the sample that I will play you, yes, you can kind of feel it going on in there. It's hard to tell what's side A, what's side B. It's just this tiny little thing. Bastards, why do you do that? Just put side A, side B. Don't make it so fancy. This album, okay, there is at times a lot of noise in here. Actually, it is done in English. I said French, but it is done in English. There is some French that is on here, but for the most part, it's done in English. But there's just some noise. In fact, there's one song. What's it called? Fading out. Fading out. It's. Jeez, I can't remember my songs. See, yeah, when you don't put it on the outside, it makes it hard. Am I fading out? That's the song. It sounds like someone's just banging on pipes back in the background. It's bang, bang, bang. I mean, there's some weird crap. Going back, has this kind of a blues type feel to that song, but then there's Mechanical Lamb that's just this gleeful, fun noise happening, and remind me of the Velvet Underground. Is this album for everybody? It's probably not, but I really enjoyed it. And Jeff, JG Yokohama, he has such a cool collection of different things. This was fun, so thank you, Jeff. Down to one cube of really records I haven't listened to from what everyone's sent to me and what I've bought. Now, what I have to show, it's like two giant cubes. Muslim Gauze. Didn't know what this was. In a record store. Like their owner says, hey, you got anything interesting going on? Anything I want? And this was a really kind of an odd type of a store. Ambient, noise related in Cleveland. He goes, hey, this is pretty good. So, alrighty then. This was originally put out in 1998. Muslim Gauze is a one-man band called from a guy named out of England called Burne Jones. Burne Jones, I believe I'm saying that right. And he was kind of, they called him ethnic, electronic, experimental musician. And probably the best way to talk about it. He was heavily influenced by the history and the conflict of the Muslim world. And so a lot of his stuff could be, if there were lyrics, very political because it dealt with that. He made extremely experimental music. Now, he was born in 61 and died in 98 of a fungal infection. Doesn't that just sound the worst? You die of a fungal infection. My God, that just, it's just like sci-fi kind of stuff, isn't it? Man, how do you get it? This album was originally released in 96, and it's called Return of Black September. Return of Black September was the name of the group, of the Muslim group that attacked the 1972 Olympics. That was the name of that organization that did it. This is a kind of a continuous 5-part, 68-minute epic. I guess the best thing I could think is called a brooding sound world. There's not much groove happening going on here. It's just this noise and sounds, which is what he did. And he made so much music. He made an incredible amount of music, but no label would really pick him up. So it'd be on this little label, then this little label. So his music was scattered everywhere, and they're trying to find it and reissue it because he was prolific in what he was writing. But it's different. I'll play you a sample. It is not for everybody. Something kind of out there. Muslim gauze. Then, yeah. Revolutionaries, Sounds Volume 2. This was the house band for Channel 1 Studios in Jamaica. And they were said to have created the new rocker style. So the new rocker style, this was in the 70s, and this album was actually released in 79. The new rocker style took the older reggae or Jamaican songs, especially from the 60s, the hits, and they added in drums, but different drum rhythms, and then a bass line that would match. This, when you think of a lot of reggae, when you hear the Clash go reggae, think the Revolutionaries. So this is instrumental music. They made this music, and then other people would take what they made and they would add lyrics to it. Again, this is the house band, so it would just be a lot of their various dub mixes from Channel 1 Studio. This was built around, the music was built around Sly Dunbar and Robbie Shakespeare. And so it's just re-envisioned hits is the best way that I could say it. It was, again, I didn't know what I was buying. I just saw it. I go, oh, well, we'll try that. This is what, if I had Doug from Fat City Vinyl, my reggae expert, that would have helped because reggae is a real crapshoot for me. I'm trying to do better. So that's what that was. Instrumental jams, heavy on the bass. Then we have the Aggravators, another kind of blind. What are the Aggravators? It's another session band. How can I find 2 session bands? So again, there's no lyrics on this, but this was the session band for Bunny Striker Lee, and what he used. So again, it is music that they took that's already hits out there that they made, and then other people would come in and take what they did and put the vocals on top of it. Now, the Aggravators is named after Bunny Lee's record store that he had in the 60s, the Aggros. It's called the Aggros. Now, the other rumors said that Eddie Grant, Killer on the Rampage, he did that album in the 80s. He went over to England, and he goes, he comes back, and everybody was aggro, man. They were aggro, man. Everyone was aggravated. He was talking about the skinheads. They were aggro or aggravated, and they liked that, and supposedly Bunny Lee said, well, I'm going to make that the name of my shop. But Bunny Lee's record store, I believe, was from the 60s, The Skinheads were from the 70s. Nothing really matches. It's Jamaican. It's, so a lot of stories never match when it comes to that. So again, just an instrumental thing, instrumental music that came out of King Tubby's studio that Bunny Stryker Lee was done. So another house band, the Aggravators. What's the chance of two house bands in once, right? Spaceman 3, live in Europe, just a nice little live album. The vinyl even came in a psychedelic. Just huge fan of Spaceman 3. This is getting toward the end, I believe, of the reign. Lots of great noise in here, just soundscapes that they're making, droning happening. One of those incredible drug bands that just made music that was really out there, very Spaceman-like. The live album, this is recorded well. It had a real nice recording to it. It was easy to listen to. The vocals are a little muddled in the back, but the instrumentation is excellent. And that could have been the way they wanted their vocals. It's Spaceman 3. Received this one. I couldn't find. I apologize. Someone sent me Carl and the Passions, and I couldn't. I went through my book a number of times to see who sent me this, and I don't know. And when I saw Carl and the Passions, So Tough, I thought maybe it's Carl Wilson's own solo group, but no, it was an actual Beach Boys album. I am no expert whatsoever when it comes to the Beach Boys, so. I was unfamiliar with this album, but this is their 18th studio album. It came out in 1972. In this album, they added two members. We had Ricky Fattar on drums and Blondie Chaplin on guitar. Might have got those names wrong. Chaplin, yeah, Fattar and Chaplin. Okay, I got those names right. Just probably not pronounced right. This album, how the production is really muddled. I mean, it's not crisp. I don't know what they did when they produced it, but the vocals are just pushed back. They're not crisp. It's not clean. I was just kind of blown away. Now, there's some good songs on here. There's, because you added these two new people. So you have Here She Comes, which was a Fattar Chaplin thing that has this really blues type feel. There is Hold On Dear Brother, again, Fattar and Chaplin, and it's country western. And we're talking slide guitar country western. Here Comes Down, that was by Jardine Wilson and Love. It's gospel. And it's like going after this was an album where they're trying to go after all these different types of music that's going on in the world, and success or not success, I don't know, but it was a little odd with that. But the biggest thing I had a problem with this album was the production. I just thought it was tough. Okay, there we go. That's it. Wow, damn it. I thought I could get this under certain amount of time. Doesn't matter. I go along, right? You're used to this. We've been doing this for working toward 3 years now. So what the hell? Hey, it goes along. That's my channel. Damn it. So enjoy it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. For those of you that are happy with the election, congratulations. For those of you that aren't happy about the election, we got another 4 years coming. The thing is, everyone, we got to work together to make it better. And if we don't do that, we're not going to be a great nation. So, my thoughts. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.